Good morning, all of you. In this session, we are going to start with CSIR NET GRF Chemical Science, December 2016, Part C, Series 7. In this session, we are going to cover 15 questions of this question paper. Earlier, we completed 2016 June paper, 2017, 18, 19, 20 chemical science question papers, which are available in the channel called World of Competitive Chemistry. Right. So this kind of previous year question paper discussion will help you for competitive exams and entrance examinations as well. Right. So being it is the standard question paper, it will be helpful for your further preparation. Let us discuss about this CSIR NET GRF Chemical Science, December 2016, Part C, Series 7, where questions ranges from 131 to 145. Let us discuss about question number 131. In a 200 megahertz NMR spectrometer, a molecule shows two doublets separated by 2 ppm. The observed coupling constant 10 hertz. Separation between these two signals and a coupling constant is 600 megahertz spectrometer respectively. Right. So this is the part of NMR spectroscopy. Here, the values we have to predict are separation between two signals and a coupling constant. Both the terms we have to determine. One is separation between two signals and a coupling constant J value. Right. For that purpose, within the problem, the data provided is instrument frequency. Instrument is operated at 200 megahertz and the J value is provided as 100 hertz. Delta value provided as 2 ppm, but when frequency of the instrument increased to 600, so 200 to 600 megahertz, J value remains constant because coupling constant will not be varied. So that J value initially 10 hertz, again it will remain as 10 hertz only. Right. So only the thing we have to predict is what is the separation between lines. For that purpose, we have the formula delta is equal to what X value separation by instrumental frequency. Okay, separation between the lines by instrumental frequency. Here delta value is provided within the problem, that is 2 ppm, and X we need to find out by how much operation, how much frequency is operated. 600 megahertz frequency is operated. So if we substitute all these, X value will become, so here X is coming this side, so that 600 into 2, it will become 1200 hertz. So separation between the two signals are 1200 and J remains a constant for 200 as well as 600 both. That's the reason why it will, J value will be 10 hertz only. For question number 131, option number 4 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 132. Equation of the state for 1 mole of the gas is given by P into V minus B is equal to RT, where B and R are said to be constant, then dH by dPt is given as, right? This is the equation called real gas van der Waals equation. For this van der Waals equation, we have to apply dH by dPt value is given as, right? So it is the part of thermodynamics. For 1 mole of gas, the real gas equation is given as P into V minus B is equal to RT, where R and B are said to be constants. Let us apply the formula, enthalpy formula. This is known as enthalpy formula. dH is equal to TdS plus VdP. dH is equal to TdS plus VdP. Now it can be differentiated with respect to pressure, so that here dH by dP is equal to TdS by dP plus VdP by dP. dP get cancelled, so that only volume left here. So here dH by dP at constant temperature is equal to T into ds by dPt plus V. So this is the equation we got. Now dH by dPt is equal to T dV by dt P plus V ds by dPt. So it can be represented in this manner also, right? So that is given as minus dV by dTp. So this P should be superscript, okay? That is given as minus dV by dTp. So 2B is equal to RT. This is a real gas equation. Then V minus B is equal to RT by V. Then dV by dTp is equal to R by P. dV by dt is equal to R by P it will be, right? So what happened here, we got a dV by dt, right? dV by dt. So here we are going to substitute this value here. dV by dtp is equal to R by P, right? So V minus B value is substituted here. So after that, dH by dPt is equal to minus T Rp by V. dH by dPt, here we have dH by dPt is equal to T dV by dt. So dV by dt we know that is R by P. So that value is substituted here. So within this equation we are going to substitute the value. So here ds by dp is nothing but dv by dt, right? So then what it will, dv by dt value is nothing but R by P. Instead of this dv by dt, we are going to substitute R by P. Now the equation is dH by dPt is equal to minus T R by P plus V. Then the equation will become minus RT by P plus V it will be, right? So it will become minus V minus B plus V. Minus V minus B plus B. So minus V plus V get cancelled, so that dH by dPt is equal to B. Okay. Why we got RT by P? Just now we got here. So let us substitute here. Right. The equation is minus RT by P plus V, right? So in this equation, what we have? V minus B is equal to RT by P, right? So here RT by P value can be substituted with this, so that the equation becomes minus V minus B plus V. So here minus B plus V both get compensated, only the term left over will be plus B. What is the dH by dPt is equal to B. So that is given in the option number 2. So for question number 132, option number 2 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 133. The volume change in the phase transition is 0. Volume will constant. If volume constant, those reactions are called isochoric. If pressure constant, that is called isobaric. If temperature constant, those are called isothermal. Here what they mentioned, volume change in the phase transition is 0. These are said to be isochoric in nature. From this, we may infer that the phase boundary is represented by, what is the phase boundary graph we have to depict. Here the variables are pressure and temperature, and volume is constant term. In case of this one, volume change in the phase transition is 0. So that it may infer that phase boundary is represented by this vertical line. This is said to be a vertical line. So as the pressure rises, temperature will be linearly increased. Temperature remains constant. Okay. During the phase transition, no change in the temperature. Phase transition temperature will not be varied, right? Only pressure is linearly increased, so that here we are not going to change the temperature. This is represented by a vertical line. So here change in temperature is denoted with 0. Hence the chemical potential also remains same. Chemical potential also remains same, being dt is equal to 0. So it is best represented in option number 1. So when volume remains constant, and volume remains constant, only the variables are pressure and temperature. And the condition at phase transition is dt is equal to 0. That means temperature variation will not be possible. That is given in the option number 1. For question number 133, option number 1 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 134. The partial derivative dt by dvp is equal to, the partial derivative dt by dvp is equal to, what is the equation we have to get? Right, the equation is dt by dv is equal to minus 1 by dv by dt. dt by dv is equal to minus 1 by dv by dt. So this is the relation. So in accordance to Maxwell relationship, dv by dtp is equal to minus ds by dp. Just now we substituted in the above equation also, right? So from the equation 1 and 2, we can mix up both the equations. dt by dv is equal to plus 1 dv by dt. So we can replace this one, so that it will become dv by dt. So that can be taken as minus dp by ds, right? So that is given, minus dp by ds at a constant temperature is given in the option number 1. For question number 134, option number 1 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 135. if energies of bare proton aligned along and against external static magnetic field Bz are minus h cut gamma Bz by 2 and plus h cut gamma Bz by 2 respectively, right? So what these two values? If the energies of protons, if energies of protons, one is along and second is external magnetic field. This is along the magnetic field, this is opposite to magnetic field. Along the magnetic field denoted with negative, opposite to magnetic field denoted with positive. Then the ratio of probabilities of finding proton along and against the magnetic field is, along and against the magnetic field we have to depict. For that purpose, along the magnetic field theta value becomes 0. Against the magnetic field theta value becomes 180 degrees. Along the magnetic field theta is 0. Against the magnetic field theta is equal to 180. We know that along the magnetic field E energy is given by minus mu B. Mu denotes what? Magnetic momentum. B denotes what? Applied magnetic field strength, right? So it will be given as minus mu B cos 0 and E is equal to minus mu B is equal to minus H. So when it is aligned to the magnetic field, that one is denoted with much minus H cut gamma Bz by 2, whose value is minus H cut gamma by Bz by 2. And given magnetic field, E to E is equal to, so if it is opposite to the magnetic field, then it will become minus mu B is equal to mu B cos 180 degrees. Just now we saw alignment along the axis 0, against the axis 180, right? That's why here cos 180 is given. Now it will become E is equal to mu B is equal to minus H cut gamma Bz by 2, right? So this is given here, and the probability of magnetic field is given by the formula E to the power minus beta epsilon 1 by sigma E to the power minus beta epsilon 1, right? So this is the formula for probability along the magnetic field. Now it will become E to the power minus beta minus H cut omega Bz by 2 by 2 to the power minus beta into minus H gamma Bz by 2 plus E to the power minus beta minus H gamma Bz by 2. Just we extended all the equations, okay? So along the axis, opposite the axis, both got substituted in this, right? So it will become E to the power minus into minus H cut gamma beta Z by 2 kBt by E to the power minus into minus H gamma Bz by 2 kBt plus E to the power minus into minus H gamma Bz by 2 kBt, right? So just we substituted with the constant value, kBt value got substituted in this, okay? In the same way, we can go with probability against the magnetic field. This is in relevance with along the magnetic field. Condition for along the magnetic field. Now we are going with against the magnetic field. For against the magnetic field, entire term remains change, only sign will be inverted, right? Sign will be inverted and the final equation will be indicated here, right? Probability along the magnetic field by probability against the magnetic field. That means we are taking the ratio of both. Along by against ratio will be taken. It will become E to the power H gamma by Bz, H gamma Bz by 2 kBt by E to the power H gamma Bz by 2 kBt, right? Here beta will be there, sir. Beta Z values are there. E to the power H gamma Bz by 2 kBt. So this will be taken finally, right? So that is provided in option number 4. E to the power H cut gamma Bz by kBt is given in the option number 4. For question number 135, option number 4 is the correct answer, right? So next we will go with the question 136. Partition function for one-dimensional oscillator having equispaced energy levels with energy spacing is equal to kBt and zero ground state energy is. Here partition function of one-dimensional oscillator. This is physical chemistry again. So one-dimensional oscillator having equispaced energy levels. Energy spacing is equal to kBt. Zero ground state energy was given. Now partition function of one-dimensional oscillator Z is equal to E to the power minus BH cut omega by 2. 1 minus E to the power minus beta H cut omega. So this is the formula. So partition function denoted with Z, that is given by the equation. Energy of harmonic oscillator is given by is equal to n plus 1 by 2 h cut omega. Ground state energy is given by half h cut omega is equal to 0. Energy spacing between h cut omega is equal to kBt. Z is equal to e to the power 0 by 2 by 1 minus e to the power minus h cut omega by kBt. So any term associated with 0 by 2 is nothing but again it will entire term becomes 0 only. That's why we can represent that Z is equal to 1 by 1 minus e to the power minus kBt by kBt. kBt get cancelled, so that the term becomes 1 by 1 minus e to the power minus 1. That is given as Z is equal to 1 by e to the power minus 1 into e minus 1 it will be. It can be written as e by e minus 1. Z is equal to e by e minus 1 is the final answer. That is given in the option number 3. For question number 136, option number 3 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 137. The reaction goes through the following elementary steps. A plus B gives rise to 2C. A plus C gives rise to D. So A plus B gives rise to 2C is the fast reaction said to be K1 is the rate constant. In order to convert this intermediate product into starting material, K inverse rate constant is employed. A plus C gives rise to D as the product. This proceeded with K2 rate constant. This is a slow step in the reaction. Now, assuming the steady state approximation can be applied to C, doubling the concentration of A, rate of the production D will be increased by. If A concentration got doubled, then what will be the product of D? So how extent it will be raised, we have to predict. For that purpose, this problem purely belongs to chemical kinetics. Let us go with the derivation part. The reaction goes through the following elementary steps. A plus B gives rise to 2C, proceeded with K1 rate constant. B plus C gives rise to D, proceeded with K2 rate constant. Then rate is equal to K2 into C. Why we are taking specifically A into C? Because wherever reaction carried, slow step becomes a rate determining step. Here the slow step is reaction between A plus C gives rise to D. That's the reason why rate purely depends upon two reactants A plus C, not B here. A plus C, that's the reason why K2 into A into C concentration will be taken. By applying steady state approximation for this, apply dC by dt is equal to K1 into A into B minus K1 into C square minus K2 into A into C. This is the application of steady state approximation. Now, concentration C is equal to K1 A into B by K1 C plus K2 A it will be, because here square C square is there, C is there, the square and the C get cancelled, so that here K1 C is there plus K2 A will be there. Okay, so after that here we got C is equal to K1 A into B by K inverse C. K inverse C are there. Okay, so from this equation it is clear that C can be taken left hand side, so that C square it will become K1 AB by K inverse. Now this is the equation for square. The taking simple concentration of C. Concentration of C is given by K1 by K inverse whole to the power half, A to the power half, B to the power half. This is about the concentration of C. Then rate of the reaction mentioned by slow step only. What is slow step? Only slow step is K2 into A into C. Here C is known to us. So here let us substitute this this C, concentration of C in this. It will become K2 into K1 by K inverse whole to the power half, A into A to the power half, B to the power half. Term is given in the problem only we are taking A is there, K2 is there within the reaction, so A concentration, K2 A concentration is also there. This K1 by K inverse whole to the power half we are taking here, A to the power half we are taking, B to the power half also we are taking. Then rate proportional to A to the power 3 by 2, because here A to the power 1 plus 1 by 2 will be there, entirely it will become 3 by 2. Rate proportional to Z to the power 3 by 2. So Z to the power 3 by 2. Then rate proportional to Rate proportional to 2 under root 2 times. Rate proportional to 2 under root 2 times provided in option number 4. So for question number 137, option number 4 is the correct answer. This is about the entire derivation part, right? Let us move on to question number 138. Rate of acid catalyzed reaction in the aqueous solution follows rate equation R is equal to K into X to the power positive, Y to the power minus 2, H positive. If K16 and K4 are rate constant for the ionic strength of 16 mole per liter and 4 mole per liter respectively, ln K4 by K16 in terms of de Broglie constant B is equal to 0.51 is. We have to predict the ratio between K4 by K16, ln K4 by K16 ratio to be predicted. For that purpose, rate is given by, the equation rate is given by K into x to the power plus y to the power minus 2, h to the power plus. This is the rate equation. Now we are going to take write the rate of the reaction. How? Y to the power plus, y to the power minus, h to the power plus can be taken as x y h whole to the power slash. So this leads to the formation of final product. Then we have to write the rate, what the ratio of the reaction K by K naught is given by y plus y minus y minus y plus h by y into x y h whole to the power hash, right? So this is the ratio between K and K naught. K denotes what? Forward. K naught denotes a backward reaction. Then log gamma is equal to n minus a root I charge whole to the power square. So log gamma is given as what is the formula? N minus a root I charge to the power whole square. Now let us take the ratio of this rate constant log K by K naught is equal to minus a root I plus 1 plus m minus a by I into plus 1 minus into minus a root I into 0. Just to be expanded the equation, charges will be taken, whatever charges present in the equation, all can be taken here. So in this equation, we are going to apply. So that finally it will become minus a root I into 1 plus 4 plus 1 will be taken. Here, within the problem they mentioned, we have to depict log K16 by K naught. Log K16 by K naught is given by, as minus 6a by minus 6a root I1. Log K4 by K naught is given by minus 6a root I1. Then I1 is, sorry, here it will be I2, right? So I1 is 16, I2 will be 4. I1 will be 16, I2 will be 4. That is given here only, right? So 16 will be the ionic strength of first molecule. 4 will be the ionic strength of second molecule. So I denotes what? Ionic strength that are provided in the option given problem only, right? From the above equation, it is clear that log K4 by K naught is equal to log, we are taking two, differential of these two. Log K4 by K naught minus log K16 by K naught is equal to minus 6a root I2 minus I1. Ionic strength of the second minus ionic strength of first one, right? So we are taking both. Then log K4 by K16 is equal to minus 6 into B under root 4 minus under root 16. It will be taken as minus 6B. 2 minus root 4 nothing but 2, root 16 nothing but 4. It will be taken as minus 6B, 2 minus 4. It will be taken as minus 6B into minus 2. It will be 12. 12B is provided in option number 4. For question number 138, option number 4 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 139. For two reactions, X gaseous plus Y gaseous gives rise to Z gaseous, M gaseous plus N gaseous gives rise to P gaseous. Both the reactions are provided. According to collision theory, ratio of squares of pre-exponential factor reaction 2A2 and 1A1 at the same temperature. A2 by A1 whole square is, so A2 by A1 whole square, that to be predicted. Here data is provided: species, mass and their diameter. Species X, Y, M, N. their masses 5, 20, 10, 10 are provided. Their diameter, distance will be 0.3, 0.5, 0.4, 0.4 in nanometers, right? So this is the data given within the problem. We have to depict A2 by A1 whole square value that is given as, in accordance with collision theory, A is equal to NA DAV whole square by 10 to the power 3 into MA plus MB by MA into MB. Here A should be capital. MA plus MB by MA into MB whole to the power half into 8 pi RT whole to the power half. This is a power, right? So this can be indicated like this. MA into MB is nothing but mass of the reactant A and B. DAV can be taken as average diameter. What is DAV? DAV denotes what? Average diameter. Diameter provided within the problem only. DAV is equal to average diameter of A and B. Then we can take A2 square is equal to NA by 10 to the power. NA denotes what? Avogadro number. By 10 to the power 3 whole to the power square. DAV nothing but diameter average can be taken whole to the power 4 into MA plus MB by MA into MB into 8 pi RT, right? So this is the equation. A2 square by A1 square is equal to NA by 10 to the power 3 whole square into 0.4 plus 0.4 by 2 to the power square. 10 plus 10 by 10 into 10 into 8 pi RT by NA by 10 to the power 3 whole to the power square. 0.5 plus 0.3 by 2 whole to the power 4 into 5 plus 20 by 5 into 20 into 8 pi RT. All these values provided within the problem just to be substituted in this. Now, A2 square by A1 square is equal to 20 by 100 by 25 by 100. Now, what it will become? 20 by 100, 20 by 25 by 100. Now, it will become 20 by 100 into 100 by 25. So 100 get cancelled. 20 by 25 nothing but 4 by 5. 4 by 5 is given in the option number 1. For question number 139, option number 1 is the correct answer. Whatever data given, that we substituted in this equation. The fundamental equation is A is equal to NA into D average whole square by 10 cube into MA plus MB by MA into MB whole to the power half, 8 pi RT whole to the power half. So if we know this equation, it is possible to substitute and derive the final answer. So for question number 139, option number 1 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 140. If the specific conductances of sparingly soluble salt 1:1, molecular weight is 200 gram per mole, in its saturated aqueous solution 25 degrees centigrade, and that 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 3 ohm inverse decimeter inverse, and 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 5 ohm inverse diameter inverse respectively. And conductivities for these cations and anions at infinite dilution 0.485 and 1.0 ohm inverse diameter inverse mole inverse respectively. The solubility of the salt in water at 25 degrees centigrade, solubility should be predicted. This is the question from chemical equilibrium. Question from chemical equilibrium, solubility to be predicted. Right, let us see. Solubility is equal to concentration of salt into molar mass. It is simply given as solubility lambda alpha m. These are the limitations, is given by lambda positive, lambda minus. This is called Kohlrausch law. Conductance at infinite dilution is given by conductance of cation plus conductance of anion. This is known as Kohlrausch law. Okay, lambda positive is equal to ionic concentration of cation. Lambda negative denoted as ionic concentration of anion. If we take the strong electrolyte sodium chloride, lambda infinity sodium chloride is given by cationic conductance plus anionic. Cationic will be 0.485, anionic chloride will be 1.0. Now this lambda value becomes 1.48 ohm inverse decimeter square, right? So this is for lambda value for sodium chloride. Now we have to take the solubility because we have to predict the solubility, right? Solubility is equal to K salt by lambda. K salt by lambda. Salt is nothing but K water minus K solution. How this is generated? So in water we are dissolving the solution, right? So that's why it is given as solubility is given as K water minus K solution by lambda infinity. So K salt by this K lambda infinity is equal to K water. Water is given as 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. That value we have to substitute minus K solution. What is the value? K solution, cation, anion at the dilution is given here. And K solution is given as 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 5. That of water and that salt are given like this. Okay. 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 5. Water is given as 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. And the solution is given as 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 5. Lambda value, lambda infinity in accordance with Kohlraasch law, we just determined lambda infinity of sodium chloride is equal to cation plus anion. That is given as 1.485. So that 1.485 we substituted. Here we got the difference between these two, 148.5 by 1.485 into 10 to the power minus 5, right? So what happens? They get cancelled, so that here 200 into 10 to the power minus 3 gram per liter. 2 into 10 to the power minus 1 gram per liter. So 200 into 10 to the power minus 3 can be written as 2 into 10 to the power minus 1 gram per liter. So 2 into 10 to the power minus 1 only they're asking, so that it will be option number 3. This is from chemical equilibrium. Solubility to be depicted, there is a formula for solubility. Solubility is equal to K salt by lambda infinity. K salt is given by K water minus K solution by lambda infinity. K water is given, K solution is given, lambda infinity we calculated. So after substituting, we got the solubility of given salt. That is 2 into 10 to the power minus 1. For question number 140, option number 3 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 141. We are taking the equation zinc. This is zinc plus 4 ammonia gives rise to tetramino zinc dipositive ion. So this is the complex ion formation. So during this reaction, 2 electrons got released and its standard electrode potential will be 1.03 volts. And either zinc turned into Zn plus 2 by releasing 2 electrons whose standard electrode potential is 0.763 volts. The formation constant of the complex zinc tetramine dipositive is approximately, here formation constant to be predicted, 2.303 RT by F is given by 0.0591. So this can be substituted in the Nernst equation. So this problem can be solved based on Nernst equation. So formation constant to be predicted. First, let us see what is the data given. Zinc, 4 ammonia molecules when combined, zinc tetramino dipositive complex is formed. Along with these 2 electrons liberated out, when electrons released, we can say that is called oxidation. Where oxidation carried? At anodic region. Hence, this will behave like an anodic compartment and whose standard electrode potential is 1.03 volts. Right now, zinc turned into Zn plus 2 by releasing 2 electrons. Standard electrode potential is 0.763 volts, called cathode. Right. So why it is cathode? Even here electrons released, but compared to this one, here extent of electrode potential is less. Obviously, higher potential considered as anode and lower will be cathode. So in this manner, we can differentiate. Formation constant. So the requirement is formation constant for this zinc NH3 taken 4 is approximately. That is given by taking anode minus cathode. E to anode minus cathode will be taken. E cell is given as 0.26. E cell is given by 0.267 volts. Okay. Then log K is equal to, formation constant log K is equal to N into E cell by 0.0591. Okay. Log K is equal to N into E cell by 0.0591 can be taken. Then E cell, just now we calculated EMF of the cell. Log K is equal to 2 into N. N means 2. What is N? N is nothing but valency. How many electrons released or accepted within the reaction? Here electrons released, here electrons released. So that valency will be 2. So 2 into E cell. E cell is 0.267. 0.0591. 2 into 0.267 by 0.0591. That is log value. How much it will be? 9.1. But only we need force constant. What we need? Formation constant. Sorry. Formation constant needed to be predicted. That's why here log should be discarded. In order to discard the log value, k is equal to antilog 9.1 will be taken. K is equal to antilog 9.1 will be taken. That is nothing but k is equal to 10 to the power 9.1. It is taken as approximately 10 to the power 9. Now k, that is formation constant, is given as 10 to the power 9. The 10 to the power 9 provided in option number 3. For question number 101, option number 3 is the correct answer. This is a question from electrochemistry. So here, Nernst equation is applied, EMF of the cell is applied, and the latter formation constant formula is Ne cell by 0.0591. So from this, we calculated formation constant value. Let us move on to question number 142. The molar conductivity versus concentration plot of sodium dodecyl sulfate in water expected to looks like. Sodium dodecyl sulfate was taken and molar conductivity versus concentration. So when we are going to strong acid versus strong base will be this first one, right? Second one may not suitable with us. Third one, weak acid versus strong base, and this is the plot for molar conductivity versus concentration for dodecyl sulfate versus water. Sodium dodecyl sulfate is nothing but it is a kind of fatty acid salt. We can say soap solution, and that dissolved in water, whose spectrum will be represented, whose plot will be represented by this curvature. So here one straight line is there, another curvature will be there, that is given in the option number 4, right? So here y-axis we are taking molar conductivity, x-axis concentration term was taken, and it is represented in this manner, right? For question number 142, option number 4 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 143. It is a solid state chemistry. The sine square theta value obtained from X-ray powder diffraction pattern solids are 2x, 4x, 6x, and 8x. X value is 0.06. Wavelength of X-ray is given as 1.54 angstrom. Unit cell and unit cell length respectively. What kind of unit cell it is? BCC, FCC, SCC, BCC. So what kind of unit cell and what is the unit cell length? A. That should be predicted. For that purpose, we have sine square theta is given by k into h square plus k square plus l square. These h, k, l are called Miller indices. These are given for what? Miller indices which are provided for given framework. Okay, since all values are even, so you can observe all the values provided are even. 2, 4, 6, 8 all are even in nature, hence the maximum probability will be BCC. Maximum probability will be BCC, being all the values are even numbered, even values BCC will be there. The possible Miller index for BCC will be HKL denoted with 110. 110 it will be. Let us substitute in this equation k into 1 square plus 1 square plus 0 square. If we substitute 1 square plus 1 square plus 0 square, it will become 1 plus 1, 2. So sine square theta is given by 2k. Sine square theta is given by 2k. Then it can be written as sine square theta is equal to 2x. Since k is equal to x, that's why we can replace k with x. X is equal to k, whose value is given as 0.06. Within the problem only they mentioned. And this k value is equal to lambda square by 4a square. K value is equal to lambda square by 4a square. Here, the requirement is A, right? They are asking for unit cell length. That unit cell length is given by A. That A is needed to be predicted. That's why we are taking this A towards left hand side. A square is equal to lambda. Lambda value is provided within the problem. Lambda value is provided, that is 1.54 angstroms. Why here lambda square is there? That's why we wrote 2 times 1.54 into 1.54 by 4 is 4 into here k. What is k value? K value is given, that is 0.06, right? So here 1.54 into 1.54 by 4 into 0.06. It is calculated later. We are going to convert into A. Here square is there, further it turned into A. So by doing all the calculations, simple multiplication only. So from that we can calculate 3.14 is the unit cell length, right? So 3.14 angstroms is the unit cell length. So BCC and 3.146 angstroms, that is provided in option number 1. For question number 143, option number 1 is the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 144. It is the question from polymer chemistry. Distribution of molar masses in the typical polymeric sample shown below. This is the graphical form and plotted between molecular weight taken on the x coordinate, weight fraction was taken on the y coordinate. We got one curvature. In this curvature, peak area represented with A point, and the next will be represented with B point, and the next will be represented with C point. What are A, B, C, right? So this is for polymeric sample. Here in the polymeric sample molecular weight determination, we have different methods. One is called Z average molecular weight determination. Second is called weight average molecular weight determination, viscosity average molecular weight determination, and last is about number average molecular weight determination. The magnitude amount of molecular weight for Z average will be highest, latter weight average, viscosity will be next level, and number average value will be least one. This is the correct order of molecular weight. So molecular weight is taken on the x coordinate, right? Highest will be given for what? Mz. But within the options, Mz is not given. After Mz, what is the term we have? Mw. So highest distance is given for Mw, right? So Mw is given. So Mw is given for C, because as we are moving towards this right hand side, gradually molecular weight increases. Gradually molecular weight increases. So here highest value is given for Mw. After Mw, what is the next term? Viscosity. In order to determine viscosity average molecular weight, we have the empirical formula called Markov-Hornig equation can be applied, right? So that is the next level. So that is B term. And least will be given for number average. That number average is A term. C denotes W, B denotes viscosity, and A denotes number average. All these are provided in option number 2. For question number 144, option number 2 is the correct answer. Let us move on to this question number 145, last question of the series. Two bound stationary states, 1, 2 and 1 electron atom, E2 is greater than E1, E is the total energy. Obey following state about kinetic energy and the potential energy. T denotes kinetic, V denotes potential energy, right? So for that purpose, we have to predict what is the relation between T2 and T1, V2 and V1. So for that purpose, virial theorem can be applied for this. Virial theorem denotes what? 2T is equal to minus 1V. 2T is equal to minus 1V. So 2T, now we are going to differentiate both the equation. T1 is equal to minus 1 by 2 V1. T2 is equal to minus 1 by 2 V2, because two different states are given, right? That's why temperature 1 and not temperature. T denotes what? Kinetic energy 1. Kinetic energy 1 is equal to minus 1 by 2, potential energy 1. Kinetic energy 2 is equal to minus 1 by 2, potential energy 2. So total energy is equal to, always total energy is equal to sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy. Now we have to add these two. Now 2T1 plus V1 is equal to 0. 2T2 plus V2 is equal to 0. Now it will become T1 plus V1 is equal to 0. T1 plus E1 is equal to 0. T1 is equal to minus E1. T2 is equal to minus E2. Obviously, E2 will be greater than E1. Energy of second state will be greater than energy of first state. Then it can be written as minus E2 is less than minus E1. T2 is less than T1. Now 2T1 plus V1 is equal to 0. 2T1 plus V1 is equal to 0. So in this equation, we are going to substitute this value. 2T1 plus 2V1 minus V1 is equal to 0. Then 2E1 minus V1 is equal to 0. 2E1 is equal to, so minus V1 taken this side. 2E1 is equal to V1. 2E2 is equal to V2. Hence, we can clearly say E2 is greater than E1. 2E2 is greater than 2E1. Then finally, V2 will be greater than V1. V2 will be greater than V1. That means T2 is less than T1. So T2 is nothing but kinetic energy of second state will be lesser than first one, whereas potential energy of second one is greater than potential energy of second one. Both are vice versa to each other. Right? So that is provided in option number 3. For question number 145, option number 3 is the correct answer. By this, we completed entire 2016 December question paper. In this, all part C questions have been completed. The series 7 consists of 15 questions only, right? So all these mostly related with the physical chemistry questions. Hope it will be very much helpful for you. Thank you very much for your patience listening. Thank you one and all.